Going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 41 of the Daily College Football Show. And I don't even know where to start. Seahawks are Super Bowl champions, Super Bowl 60 champions. It's been a few days. I keep finding myself at like a loss for words. I don't really know where to start because it's not like you need to really break down the game, like look in too deeply into who had great games, who had horrible games. They won the Super Bowl, and it felt fitting to record this after seeing the parade celebration. It just brought me joy. This whole week has just brought me joy. It's a bit of a feeling that I don't know if I'd say it feels surreal. It's just a feeling of surprise, of kinda happiness, I think. And, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna start with the game. The game was interesting. People are gonna call it such a boring Super Bowl. This was exactly the game that I feel like I've seen the Seahawks play so many times this season. It was a Seahawks football game. They don't necessarily have the fastest start on offense. They missed some opportunities, but Mike knows his team so well. They take their points when they need to. They don't get too aggressive. They don't do too stupid stuff when they don't have to. This was this was vintage Seahawks football, and it was fitting that they didn't turn the ball over. Sam Darnold, they didn't turn the ball over the entire playoffs. If you would look around the league, great quarterbacks. I mean, Josh Allen lost his team the game when he turned the ball over 5 times. Drake May had a rough playoffs, turned the ball over multiple times in each game. Taking care of the football and playing good defense is alive in the NFL. Mike McDonald becomes the first defensive play calling head coach to win the Super Bowl. This is so against the grain of notorious Super Bowl winners in the last, 10 years? More than that? The Super Bowl, especially recently, is like who has the genius head coach? It's Mahomes in the playoffs. It's the star quarterback. And that's not what this team was. And that's why I think a lot of people nationally are like, oh, they don't know what to do with this team because they don't have a star quarterback. They have the offensive player of the year on offense, but I mean, he had 24 yards and they won the game by what did they win it by 16? It's suffocating. They play suffocating football. And there's so many guys that stood out in this game. And on the opposite side of the ball, I will say to start the game, I was a little bit nervous. Sam's first few throws, they were fit in the tight windows. It bounced off of Patriots player's hands. Jason dropped one that was in the air for a little bit. Could have maybe been picked. Marcus Jones, like, almost jumps a route to Cup, I believe, or Barner, and he could have came down with an interception. And then you have that play where kinda it's a broken play, and Jason breaks up the field, and Sam puts some air underneath it. It could have been picked off. I'm not gonna be picked off, but it could have been a touchdown that broke the game open, and just that's fine, though, because after that, Sam settled in. And what was his PFF grade? It doesn't really matter. His grade was a 61, so around average. He didn't have his best game. He missed some throws. Before the half, he got fortunate when Jason has a double move. He beats Gonzo, and he underthrows him a little bit, throws it behind him, and it could have been picked off. Gonzalez got two hands on it. Shaheed, he threw a bomb to Shaheed early in the game that a little bit underthrown, but he gives his guy a chance to make a play. But after that first drive, he wasn't really putting the ball in harm's way. He was taking care of the ball as he did all playoffs. And when people talk about how the Seahawks are going to lose a football game, it's Sam Darnold's going to implode and throw 4 interceptions. He didn't do that since the Carolina game. He didn't turn the ball over in the last 4 games of the season. And just silences everyone. He silenced all of the haters, and he doesn't dunk on the haters. He lets his teammates do talking. We'll talk about the parade. He just does it himself. He's just himself, and he hasn't changed a bit. That's the one thing I love about the guy. He was himself the first press conference he had this season. He was himself as the season went on. They were putting up great numbers. He gives his credit to his teammates. He is a great leader of a football team, and the national media doesn't know what to do with him. There's still people doubting. Oh, everyone's just waiting. That's the Seahawks' demise. Like, just a stupid take. Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP, Kenneth Walker. Who would have thought that would be the case when midseason Charbonnet would take every single touchdown and they're kind of splitting carries? The Seahawks don't care about fantasy football. They care about this time of the year. Because if Charbonnet were here, I don't think that means that they would have necessarily been 12-12 or whatever it would be. They would ride. They wouldn't be scared to give K9 25 carries or 20 carries. but he was fresh. He wasn't beaten up. Ramondre Stevenson had 7 carries for 23 yards. Trayvon Henderson, 6 for 19. I mean, that has something to do with the offensive line, but the running, he was fresh. He was explosive. He looked like it was week 1, and he has zero, like, tread on his legs. That's not usually the case for a running back in the Super Bowl. The receiving side of the ball, Cooper Kupp, 6 receptions, 61 yards, the leading receiver. How ironic is that? The guy that was sent off by the Los Angeles Rams leads his team in receiving to win his 2nd Super Bowl. A.J. Barner has a day, the only offensive touchdown, 4 receptions for 54 yards, emerging as a great tight end in this league, top 10, dare I say. And, I mean, kinda gaining some national media perception. People are loving this guy. Shaheed, 2 for 27. This wasn't, like, the most polished game on the offensive side of the ball, but they didn't press. They didn't make this something that they weren't. I thought that Quentin Kubiak called a great game. He didn't get too cute. He didn't try to run a double pass, a triple, a reverse pass, a reverse. He just ran the football, and his offensive line was moving people and did that all the way to a victory. I mean, you would like to be when you look at the drives, it's not like they were having trouble moving the football. They weren't getting necessarily, like, swallowed up by the Patriots. In the opening drive of the game, they go down and get a field goal. The drive, like, it fizzles out. The next drive, it's a 3 and out. Next drive, you punt. But those drives, it's like those few missed opportunities. I believe one of those drives he hit is when he missed the JSN deep down the field. That was the second drive. But you get a field goal before half. I thought you maneuvered a 2-minute drill, but beautifully before half again to go up 9-0. You would love to get touchdowns there. But with how the defense was playing, you were okay. Like, Drake May, can we talk about Drake May? I'm so happy that this is the way this game went because, I mean, you look at the stats, he threw for 295 yards. He threw for like 240 yards in the 4th quarter. He was awful. He was horrible. And obviously, you have to talk about the offensive line. I mean, Will Campbell had one of the worst, statistically the worst game, arguably, of the entire season that any offensive lineman's ever had. He gave up 14 carries on his own. 14 pressures on his own. Seahawks had 30 pressures, 6 sacks. How about Riley Mills getting in there with 1 sack? That was one of my favorite plays of the game. This guy's played 1 snap all postseason, 0 sacks his NFL career, and he bull rushes through their guard to just grab Drake May by the jersey and shove him down. Byron Murphy had 2 sacks. Derek Hall made a little run for the Super Bowl MVP, 2 sacks on his own. Devin Witherspoon had 1 sack, 3 total pressures, technically 2 because they called the Nwosu interception an interception instead of a forced fumble. But this is just how this team has played. This is this football team. They were perfect. They didn't miss details. There wasn't blown assignments. I mean, the Mac Hollins touchdown, it's kind of late to get into position, and Hollins makes a great play on the ball, but the game's over by that point. When they were shut out into the 4th quarter. There was serious questions like, are they going to shut these guys out in the Super Bowl? And they didn't. But to win a game 29-13, the game when after the halftime, you were never really. It was weird because it's the Super Bowl and it's like, are we going to win the Lombardi? And you want to feel nervous. Not that you want to, but you feel like you kind of have to. It's like, this shouldn't be this easy. And it was. It was a suffocating effort. I mean, Mike McDonald was all over Josh McDaniels. He did not have anything for him. A guy that's been in all these 1-6 rings as an offensive coordinator, he didn't have shit for him. He had 0 answers. Stephon Diggs was 3 receptions for 37 yards. I mean, he had 4 until once the game was finally really over. Mac Hollins was the leading receiver, and that's kind of all. All this is garbage time. Literally all of it's garbage time. I don't even know what else to say about this game, to be honest. It's just like, I thought Witherspoon should be MVP. I understand that Kenneth Walker was the guy that got all of them the yards, but Witherspoon was just he was clearly the best player on the field. And McDonald set up the game, and a good question. I mean, especially going into next year's, he's like, why didn't we really blitz this guy more? Because every time he blitzed, he was shot out of a cannon. He pushed Will Campbell back and got a pressure on Drake May. That shouldn't happen. You're whatever 180-pound maybe cornerback should not be able to do that to an offensive tackle in the NFL. It was a great watch, and I just felt this week just like surreal happiness. It doesn't really feel real, especially going into the season. Like, I thought the Seahawks would win the division. I thought they'd be able to make a run. I didn't necessarily think it was a Super Bowl team yet. And I think some people obviously like that's what you want. That's the end goal. And throughout the season, when you win these big games, but they are like, and the thing is, I see people online saying, "Well, they have to sign these people." There's no reason this team shouldn't go not like certain, but to go back to back. But what's going to hold them back? They have some serious questions about the offseason that they have to make, but you got K9, who's going to be a free agent, Woolen, Kobe Bryant, Boye Mafe. I'll do an offseason preview podcast sometime before the draft and free agency, but the defense is young. There's not like a big vet that's going to leave. I mean, Cup might retire. I don't know necessarily. I don't know. I don't know if he will or not. If you're going to go out, this is the way to go out on top, and maybe sort of restructure the contracting there. But he was the leading receiver in the Super Bowl. The offense is young. Your quarterback's on a team-friendly deal in relative to a guy that's not. When it comes to quarterbacks that aren't rookies, this is the most team-friendly deal in the league, arguably. I mean, he's making less money than Geno Smith. He's not making the upper echelon of top 10 quarterbacks money, and he's doing this. He's does what he have to do. Like, people criticizing his Super Bowl performance, it's like, he didn't need to go have a game like he did against the Rams. In that Rams game, he won them the game. He single-handedly won them the football game when he threw for 350 yards, 25 to 36, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He didn't have to do that in this game. And that's, I think, the great thing about him is he didn't try to overextend them. But Josh Allen, when they lost that game, lost it for them. When right before half, he's trying to do too much. There's 13 seconds left in half. Just take it to half. He didn't do that. He tried to do too much, tried to be the hero and fumbled and gave them 3 points that ended up costing him the game potentially. Donald just does what you need him to do. And your offensive player of the year goes for 27 yards receiving on 10 targets. I mean, there was open plays, and you win the game by 16 points again. And on the defensive side of the ball, these guys haven't even reached their ceiling, in my opinion. You have to make a decision on Reek. You have to make a decision on Kobe Bryant. You don't have a premier pass rusher. And look what you just did. Derek Hall looked like a monster in this game. He's a guy that I'm really looking forward to next season. Seeing if he can make a leap to being like an elite rusher off the edge, because that's kind of what you could say is maybe the only weakness of this team. You have a guy like Riley Mills, who's a top 3-round talent that was taken in the 5th round because of injury concerns. And he plays 5 snaps to get the sack. He didn't really get a full offseason, and that's what he's doing in this game. Leonard Williams is coming back. DeMarcus Lawrence is coming back. There's not a whole lot more to talk about on this game, in my opinion. That's why I was struggling I didn't know when I wanted to record this, because what am I going to recap? They beat the shit out of the Patriots. They dominated them, and they would have done that to any other team in the AFC. They would have done that to the Broncos. The only other team that I think would have maybe given them trouble on the defense side of the ball is the Bills, and that's just because the superstar quarterback factor. Bo Nix would have not been able to do anything on this Seahawks team. My favorite, arguably, play of the game, in a weird way, it was like the first Derek Hall sack. The Nwosu, obviously, pick 6 was pretty electric. That's when you kind of knew the game was over. But that first Derek Hall sack, just kind of that first defensive possession, it really set the tone. So it was like, okay, we went and got 3. Are the Patriots going to come back and get 7 here? No. Like, anytime they got a first down, had sort of an explosive play to get to a 3rd and short, it was just like neutralized. They did nothing successful on the offensive side of the ball until the 4th quarter, when the Seahawks were backing up, kind of playing it passively, I guess you could say they were. And the Patriots hit some big plays on the field, which is what they did to everyone's early in games in the regular season, not in the playoffs. So I think one of my favorite plays of the game was that Derek Hall sack early in the game, because it kind of just set the tone for me. And the Riley Mills play, that was another one too, because it was like our 6th defensive tackle just bull rushed your starting guard and sacked your quarterback. They're so good. They are so good, and the defense lived up to it in a big spot. And I'm so happy that they shut up all the New England fans, because I was just getting over the discourse online, and they won the Super Bowl. And we'll talk about some aftermath. Clint Kubiak officially going to the Raiders. We knew that was going to happen. Mike McDonald is interviewing guys from the outside, or not. He's interviewing 4 internal candidates: Jake Peets, Justin Outen, Andrew Janoko, and there was one more. Let me pull it up right now. But I expect that to get done sometime in the next few weeks. They're going to the combine. Honestly, the next week maybe. They're going to the combine in 2 weeks. So I think they'd want to have an offensive coordinator figured out before then, just for the interview process and everything else. Tight end coach Mac Brown. So I think it'll be a guy from within. I think that gives you the best chance of holding on the staff, and it'd be so awesome if you could hold on to most of these guys. I think some might go with Kubiak, but if you're a guy on the staff, why would you want to leave a team that just won the Super Bowl and is in the spot that they're in right now? You have no reason to want to do that. There's no reason to do that. You're coaching a young group that's only growing on the offensive side of the ball. Why would you leave that? A chance to go back to back, a chance to do what only 3 teams have ever done? Man, the parade today. The parade today, I had a lot of FOMO just watching the videos. I couldn't take my eyes off it. I'm in the gym, just watching on my phone. I can't stop watching these clips, just scrolling clips of people at the parade. That was awesome to see. That was awesome to see the personalities these guys come out. John Schneider's hammered at the podium. The Ernest Jones speech was, I mean, that's going to live on forever. That was kind of, in a weird way, like with the team the way the Super Bowl played out. I don't know if they said there was like a signature moment that's going to be constantly be shown. Maybe the pick six, but from a national perspective, like that kind of just it wasn't the most exciting Super Bowl. I feel like that Ernest Jones speech moment should be will be kind of the moment for this team. The moment that you look back on is like that's who these guys were. They didn't care about what anyone else thought about them, what anyone else thought about their quarterback. They didn't let any of the outside noise affect them. And it's very different from 2013 when that team was so like angry and like angry in a good way where they want to prove everyone wrong themselves. And the Seahawks don't care. They're just going to keep doing what they're doing. Like they don't care what you think about them. They don't care, like, have any opinions. Like you're doubting them. Okay, we're just going to show you. We're not going to tell you. We're just going to show you time and time again. And that was awesome. And the parade clips, everyone running down the street, like the security's trying to get him in the buses, keep running on the side. Another underrated component about the whole thing is I love like seeing Mike McDonald in like an awkward situation. He's not like a social. It's hard to say he's not a social guy, but he is very like he's football. He's focused on the football all the time, and to see him like having to go on Jimmy Kimmel and having to give all these speeches, and I just love him. I love him. He's just is making a case, an early case for being one of the greatest coaches in Seattle sports history, and I just keep thinking it, dude. Like, there's no reason this shouldn't be the start of a dynasty, the start of something bigger than just one championship. Because if these guys don't let their egos inflate, which is nothing to show that that's going to happen, they're going to always have this mindset because people are going to constantly hate on them. You got Rams fans saying that this was the easiest Super Bowl ever. Niners fans saying that, oh, they were all banged up. It doesn't matter. They won the games in dominant fashion. I mean, ESPN ranked them as the third greatest Super Bowl team of all time. And people are pissed about it, but they trailed for a minute 30 in the entire playoffs. In the entire playoffs. And I believe that was in the Rams game sometime before halftime, probably. I'm going to look at that right now. But they was never like a slow start moment. Even when they had them, the defense was so good that it didn't even matter. Like, if the offense starts slow, like, we're fine. The defense never had a moment where, like, the only team that did any sort of success on them was the Rams in the last 2 weeks, the last 2 games they played about them. But guess what? In those 2 games, the offense picked them up. And that's the best part about this team. They trailed for a very, very brief minute, 30 seconds in the second quarter of the Rams game. When the Rams went up 13-10, the Seahawks went 3 and out, the Rams went 3 and out, and the Seahawks scored before halftime. That was it. The entire playoff run. It's special. It's a special run that I think reinvigorated the city. Before Mike McDonald got hired, when Pete was still the coach, I mean, the Seahawks were kind of just like they're going to be an all right team. They're going to win 10 games, get in the playoffs. With Russ at the helm, they're not really going to be able to do anything. And John Schneider dumps Russ at the right moment. He dumps Pete at the right moment. He dumps Geno last year. He dumps DK. 2 guys who, how are they feeling right now? And makes this team, I mean, he is a Hall of Fame general manager. And that just makes you have to want to trust him with every single thing that he's going to do. Like, he was doubted a lot last year in the last few years with his decisions. And if you look at the way he's hit on draft picks, he hasn't missed in the last 3 or 4 years on first round, second round, third round picks. It's quite honestly amazing stuff. Like, it is unheard of to have that type of draft run. And they only have 4 picks in the draft. It doesn't matter. Like, this isn't necessarily like trade him for Max Crosby. I don't necessarily know if that's gonna be on the table, but whatever you add in the draft, I mean, whether it's a guard, an edge, a corner, probably you wanna add someone like that. You gotta trust what he's gonna do. You can't there's no one that has any room to criticize what he's gonna do right now and not trust um, not trust him with what he's done. So, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Like, I feel like I should have more to say. There's nothing to break down. I don't have anything to break down. The Seahawks are Super Bowl champs, and no one can say shit. People online, other fan bases, Rams fans are like, for some reason, Eagles fans are in a big tiff on Twitter about how the Eagles were a better championship team than the Seahawks. Like, when you have other fan bases coming at you, the Seahawks are kind of recently, like, they've been under the radar. They'll chirp back and forth with the Niners and Rams fans. Now, no, like, that's not the case anymore. Everyone is coming at them. They're the top dog. They're at the top of the totem pole. Speaking of the totem pole, how awesome was it? The spike through the helmet. That's just the epitome of Matt McDonald. He would never say anything like that in the media, but to have that in the room, to put the Patriots spear through the top, that we did not care. There were so many iconic moments from this run. It wasn't just a little fluky thing. No one's gonna remember that. People are gonna remember this 2025 Seahawks team and what comes from beyond. So, I'm gonna wrap it up there. It was a short episode. Maybe I'm sorry about that. I don't have much else to say. They're Seahawks Super Bowl champs, and yeah, they're on the quest to repeat. I'm gonna have a off-season preview show coming out soon, sometime maybe around the combine, maybe definitely before the draft and free agency. But I'm kind of undecided right now on what I'm gonna do in the offseason. I might be turning this into sort of a Mariners show, talking about the Mariners because I do love the Mariners. I watch every game. A big fan of them. So I might be doing some of that. We'll see. Um, Not sure when next show is going to be loaded the next week or two, or a little bit after that, or whether we're going to be talking Mariners in a few weeks as spring training has just started. So thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for watching this entire season. Give the show a like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.